The March Madness.
All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. My name is Kyle Brennison. I am the Community Outreach Officer for Shoreline Hometown Credit Union, but wearing a different hat tonight.
Talking to the microphone.
Talking to the microphone, that's good. I'm the current president of Two Rivers Business Association. Really thankful for the city for allowing us to host this here. It's important for us to get to know the people that have graciously volunteered to run the city here. So also want to thank the chamber for partnering with us and all the candidates for being here, taking your time to be here. Thank you guys. A little bit about Two Rivers Business Association. It was founded in 1968 as an organization to promote local businesses here in Two Rivers. It has been going strong since. Initially, it was more of a schedule retail promotions for its members, as well as build and advertise shopping in downtown Two Rivers. But today, Two Rivers Business Association has expanded beyond supporting downtown retail to include all businesses, nonprofits, and government in Two Rivers and neighboring communities. So we meet monthly on the first Thursday of each month at 7:30 a.m. Please join us, help us grow Two Rivers. So that's my little pitch there for that. The format tonight, we're doing a minute and 30 seconds, not 100. We're not staying here that long. I would like each candidate at first to introduce themselves. Let us know who you are, why you're running for city council. It's why we're all here, right? And I want to thank Amy McMillan for being the timekeeper. She'll let you know when you're getting close. And as she stated before, we'll give you a hard cutoff when you're done. So, and again, just a reminder to the public, I did get quite a few questions from you guys, but if you do have any and you feel comfortable coming up to the podium, thank you. Please do so. This is about you and your vote. So, and I will go around and I will start with the first person here, and each question after that will move down. So, without further ado, let's get going. And Jason, if you want to start and tell us who you are and why you want to be on city council.
Yeah, I drew the short straw and got seat number 1, so I got to go first. But I'm Jason Ring. I have lived here in Two Rivers for the past 10 years, and I have promoted tourism in this community over that entire time. I'm running for Two Rivers Council because I feel like we need a representative government in our community. And I don't think enough people are taking the chance to run for office and make a difference in their community. So I wanted to make sure there was a group of candidates for the people to vote on. So I want to thank the TRBA for taking this opportunity to host this event. I think politics in our community are very important, and the business leaders in our community should be playing a role in that. So I think thank you to TRBA, and thank you to all of the candidates up here. We've got a full attendance by everybody. So I think that goes to show how important it is to getting our message in front of the voters. So thank you all for coming tonight.
Sorry, go ahead, Bill.
Hi, I'm Bill LeClaire, and I am currently a member of the Two Rivers City Council. And I'm 59 years old, and I was born in Two Rivers, and I lived here all my life, except for 4 years I lived in Milwaukee. I got a little lost there for a little while. And I grew up in the town of Two Rivers. And when 31 years ago, I moved to the city of Two Rivers, and me and my wife, Darla, raised 2 children, Jack and Olivia. And now that they've left the house, we are I started to find something to do, so I decided to run for city council. And I've been on city council for 3 years, and I've got a lot of experience on a lot of committees and stuff. And thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill. Roger.
I am Roger Van Voltenberg. I grew up in the Two Rivers area, graduated in 1980. I have children, I have grandchildren, all in the area. And I did, like most other people, spend some time outside of the Two Rivers area, lived in Milwaukee for a while, but came back. I like the peacefulness of Two Rivers and the camaraderie in the community. What I would bring to the council, hopefully, is some fresh ideas. It's always good to get some fresh ideas from outside the place and hopefully bring them back in. Else for running, it is good to see a full boat here, and you'll have a good evening, and I'll appreciate any questions. I'll keep my door open, so.
Thank you.
Good evening, guys. Thanks for coming tonight. Thanks for watching online. My name is Larry Thomas. I originated from Chicago. I came here in 2006 with my family when my kids were little. I have raised the kids through the Two Rivers School District. I have spent an awful lot of time with coaching when my kids were little. I've done multiple leagues, multitudes of sports. More recently, in 2013, I was elected to the Lester Public Library Board of Trustees. I'm currently sitting on the president's seat of that. I was elected to the city council in October of 2021 after Kurt Andrews stepped down and a seat was vacant. Personally, I bring integrity, I bring honesty, I bring responsibility, open communication to this board. What I'm looking for ultimately is the betterment of this city, making it sustainable and looking to progress the city into not just the near future, but generations of our future. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Travis.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm Travis Van Lannen. I was born in 1987 in Manitowoc, graduated Michigan High School in 2005. Moved to Two Rivers in 2007, been here about 15 years, and have two young kids, both work and play in the community. They go to school here, and kind of the reason I'm running is the kids. I want to make sure that my kids grow up in a great community that we can still enjoy and continues to thrive, and with job opportunities and everything that the Lakeshore has to offer, we enjoy. Going forward, I look to bring fresh ideas, as some people have just said already too, but open communication is key, I think. Open dialogue, fresh ideas, open-mindedness, and through that, I think we can all work together to find solutions to any problems, and of course, support all small business ventures, and yeah, that's a good goal. So I appreciate you hosting this event as well, and thank you all for being here tonight. Thanks.
Thanks, Travis. Doug?
Hi, I'm Doug Wolf. I live on 13, I got two properties in town, actually. I live over by Paragon. But I moved into Two Rivers about 38 years ago. Our family opened up a hardware store here. Now it's currently Klein Hardware, but back then it was Coast to Coast Hardware. So we moved down here shortly after that and never left. I got stuck here. Married Kim Durbin. I've got one child. I just want to see some change too. I want to bring back some industry to town, see some growth. Tourism is a good thing, but it doesn't pay the bills, and we have to just go after and be open-minded, and hopefully we can get some of the business back that we've lost over the years. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Tim Petrie. I was born, raised here, been self-employed for over 28 years, been in a couple different businesses. I decided to run for council to be one of the checks and balances in the process, just to make things balanced. I want to be able to get people to look at other ways of looking at stuff, and hopefully help save money and make stuff better. Just maybe help with growth with some industry and tourism, but just all in all, just keep things checked and balanced.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Scott Steckmesser. I drew slot number 8, which hopefully I'll try to make my answers different than everyone else's by having number 8. But I've lived in the city of Two Rivers 40 years. I've been here most of my life. Grew up in Whitelaw. Family moved here when I was around 5-ish or so. So 40 years, been a member of the community. I'm doing this for my family, and I'm doing this for everyone's family. Two Rivers is home for me. It's plain and simple. It's just home. So I want to make sure that other people can come to town. They can come to the city and call Two Rivers home for themselves too. There's things that run well with the city, but there's also things that I think need some work done. Communication and stuff like that too. So that's why I'm doing this. I have a wife, Lisa, and my son Griffin, and my daughter Carly. Griffin works at VT, and my daughter's a junior in high school. So family's very important to me. Like I said, Two Rivers is home for us, and I just want to see this the city move forward and good things happen to it. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so we'll move over to our first question from the crowd, and we'll start with Bill. If needed, I can reread the question. Please just ask. So, we need to generate more manufacturing jobs back in Two Rivers like we had in the 70s and 80s. Do you agree? What are your feelings about that?
I totally agree with that. We need economic development of any kind in Two Rivers, not just manufacturing jobs. Of course, manufacturing jobs are very important to bring young people in, to bring more people to the city. But what we got to find is that we have to see what our personality is as a city. Are we totally a manufacturing community or not? Are we a tourist committee or tourist city community? And we have to continue to strive to attract people here in any way we can. The odds of us getting manufacturing here is lower. We're not going to get any big manufacturers, but we have to look at smaller manufacturers, smaller businesses, and try to attract them and sell them out in the industrial park. We have one that's starting now, and that's a small one, a small company. And if you look at our industrial park, you'll see a lot of the smaller companies that are there. So yes, we need to attract more business of any kind, not just manufacturing.
It's very important to keep communities thriving. A lot of the community has been trying to, in the past, keep it a lot of farm community. Farm community is nice, but farmers use tractors, trucks, and stuff like that also. For manufacturing is good, but any entrepreneurial-based economy, anybody with ideas. I see things in a different light than probably most people. One of the things I've seen recently, and I brought this up to a couple family members and other friends, is Manitowoc has several breweries that they've opened up recently. Now, I'm not a drinker or anything like that, but I like an occasional glass of wine or beer with my meal. But one of the things that is transported in is bottles. We have a tremendous amount of sand, and I'm not saying robbing from the beach. We have sand quarries in the area. And one of the other things that is used for making glass is potash. Potash is made from seaweed. And with the explosion of the Eurasian milfoil, which is a byproduct of somebody bringing it over, it's an invasive species. We could actually make potash in the bottle industry. So my ideas stem for other things. Thank you. Reset.
Better frazzle, you timed it so good.
You should be taking, this is free minutes. Take advantage of this. Go, man, go.
Got extra time.
Right, perfect. All right, thank you for the question. I only partly agree with the manufacturing aspect of it. If you've watched how Two Rivers has transitioned, it was originally a fishing village, and then it became heavily based on manufacturing. So yeah, manufacturing has a place in every city. It supports jobs. I understand that. However, I think we have to diversify as well. So manufacturing can bring jobs, it can sustain jobs. However, we need things such as tech, sustainable industries such as solar panels, things of that nature. We need to bring that in. we also need to support downtown with small businesses. We can't just line the town with manufacturing business. Whether it's food, restaurants, grocery stores, quickie marts, things of that nature, we just need to invite business into this town. We've lost a lot of business since I've lived here in 2006, and I think diversification will certainly help with this process. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
Travis?
Yes. All right, thanks, Bill, wherever you are in the crowd. I'm not sure which one asked it, but I, yes, 100% agree with the manufacturing. I think that's a good backbone. Wisconsin kind of has its roots in, and I think that manufacturing not only aids in jobs and tax revenue and things like this, but really creates a good base and foundation for everybody in the community. And upon that, you can expand with tech, and it just probably would snowball from there, and would help with real estate and everything else too. Manufacturing is great. I actually work in manufacturing myself, and I think it's a great, rewarding career that, you know, you can take a lot of different places and support a family with. And yes, I definitely agree and support that fully.
Thanks. Doug?
Thank you for the question. I agree with the industry. We do need growth. Tourism is okay, but we can't depend on it solely. How do we get the industry back? It's gonna take work. Since Hamilton's left, we were kind of taken by surprise, I guess, got sent on the back burner. Should have been all over it at that point, trying to look for some more stuff, even, you know, something of that magnitude. Like they said, we're not gonna get the large place to come back in, but small feeder companies, whatever, manufacturing, I know we do some startup stuff. Manitowoc seems to be growing. They're getting some more stuff. Now they just got FedEx in there. Now, when these companies look for areas to move, do they approach the cities? I'm not sure. Or do we have people that are supposed to be targeting larger communities, looking for people to move into? Maybe that's what we need to do. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Tim.
I also agree that we need some more industry, and that with more industry will come more retail. And we do need the tourists also, but with industry, that would help with some of our costs with our electric and water and stuff like that to help offset some of that. And it'd be nice if, I'm not sure what is available for giving tax breaks for bigger companies to try and get them in, like they do with the TIF loans and stuff for other projects. If it'd be nice to actually get a good sized company to come in and stick its roots here, so we have something to hold stuff together again.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everyone here. Again, slot number 8. But, you know, even with, you know, bringing more industry in, I think that's a great idea. But we also need to look at everything else. What else can we bring into the city? Like, you know, some of the people up here said, yes, industry will bring more people, it'll bring more families. You know, it'll just kind of snowball from that point. So yes, I agree. Industry is important, but we need to kind of balance it out. Because you never know when, you know, something in industry, economy, or whatever will hit, and all of a sudden, you know, industries plummet or something. You need other shops and restaurants and stuff like that to kind of compensate for all that stuff. So yeah, I think it's important, but I think we need to diversify. I think that's how you say it, and kind of just have a good mixture within the city. Thanks.
Scott, you're number 7 on this question. I'm number 8.
Sorry, number 8, yeah,
So, you know, I don't want to repeat what everybody said. Manufacturing important. It brings jobs. It's a great job where you can work your way up from an entry level position into a management level position in, you know, by working hard. And I think working hard should be rewarded. And then manufacturing is a great way to do that. But, you know, to take a different turn from these guys, let's first look to our current businesses and let's see what we can do to build up the businesses that we have established here already and help them grow. Because through that growth, we can grow our community and we can help those that have already invested in it. With that, I heard that tourism doesn't pay the bills, but I know there are some small businesses here in this room and watching at home, and they make their livelihood on visitors. And, you know, I think that Peach can even attest to this, that when we're in June, July, and August, he sees a different clientele in his business, and he's happy to serve them and take their money. So tourism is certainly one leg of the stool in our community, but I think that manufacturing, tourism, and, I think an unexplored area for our community is technology. It is a growing industry everywhere in this world, and we have resources in this community that play well to technology. A lot of them require things like fresh water for manufacturing and for cooling of things like servers and technology. We have Lake Michigan as a resource, and we should leverage that. So, thank you.
Right to the wire.
Stop sign away. I'm done.
All right, so for the third question I have from the group, I will start with Roger. How do you feel about term limits for council members? Say 3 terms.
Term limits would probably be a good thing. Gives a person, everybody else fresh blood or different ideas where they can bring them in. So there's term limits on the presidency of 10 years, with 4 years being the term. That's 8 years. So I think it would actually be a good idea. Have renewed interest. I've seen in the past that there's been times when there was very little interest in any of the council members. So we need to get a different idealism out there too, especially a lot of the younger people. We need the growth for that also. So branch of the education for them. Thank you.
Thanks for the question. Ultimately, I will lean with no term limits. The reason I would do that is to drive competition. These seats should be owned by people who want to be leaders. They want to progress our city into the future. So if you want this seat, you need to earn the seat. You need to show up to the people, earn the people's vote, and sort of take that seat. It should be a competition. If someone has sat in the seat for 15 years, has progressed our city into great things, why should we strike them for being in here for 15, 9, 6 years? I don't think that's a very wise idea, because we can end up changing things that are running very smoothly with great production. So ultimately, no, I don't believe in term limits. Thank you.
I do believe in term limits. I think it's a good idea to keep the rotation going. And I also agree that forums such as this are a good tool to get more activity and more involvement. And there's even more programs, I'm sure, that could be developed to encourage the youth to be more involved in communication with the community. Term limits would ensure that people don't become complacent, people don't become, dare I say, corrupt, or maybe just not with the best intentions. Somebody may start off in a position such as city council and have all the best intentions, but things change, people change, we're all on our own learning curves. And I think over time, there's quite the possibility that somebody could get stuck in a seat that doesn't have the best interest in mind anymore, or maybe not the right motivations. So I think term limits are a great idea, and what that term would be obviously something to be discussed, but yes.
I agree with term limits also. Person gets too comfortable. You're working hard the first couple of years, and next thing you know, you're riding along on somebody's coattail, and you're not going out and listening to people, bringing different ideas to the council. You got to have a term limit. I 100% back it. Thank you.
I also agree with term limits. I think if someone's been in too long, they'll end up getting voted in just because of name recognition. And everything should be fresh. It should always be rotated. Same as everybody, I think, should own a business at one time. That way, when they go back to being an employee, they won't say, oh, the owner has it so great. Not everything's easy. Not everything should be earned. And rotation is good.
Yeah, no, excellent question. Really excellent question. I've never really thought about it. So I'm sitting here listening to everyone else, and I'm kind of going back and forth with it. So to be honest, I don't want to sound wishy-washy or anything, but I would be okay with it. You could see with just, 7 of us up here, that's, there's so many people that want to do this. I'd say a few years ago, I don't think he would be able to do that because I don't think anyone would run. But if we could have enough people that want to do this and want to earn this seat and to be able to look forward in the city for the city, then yeah, I think it's a good idea. But I don't know if the city's quite there yet. But I think it's getting pretty close. Thank you.
Yeah, this is a tough question for me to answer. I'm new at this politics thing, and I hope to be able to contribute for a long time. I firmly believe in putting the choice of who represents them in the hands of the people that elect them. But that being said, somebody that's been in office for a long time has an advantage on the person that is coming to replace them or potentially replace them. There is a learning curve. I'm certain that there will be a whole lot of things that the new candidate here will have to learn about city government and how things work. And you should be allowed that time to get used to the system and how things work and how you can make change. And I think all of us here know that change doesn't happen overnight and it doesn't happen quickly. So if you want to come into this place and make change, you need some time to do that. So do I think term limits are a good thing or we shouldn't have them? I would say that, man, it's tough to remove somebody from office that's doing a good job just because that's the term limit. But at the same time, I believe that new voices have a role in city government. So do you want an answer? 15 seconds to come up with an answer. My answer would be term limits. If I had a board that I was reporting to, I'd want people changed out because I think that you want to give new people a voice. And I'm done.
You got that 130 in your head.
After you, Bill. I mean,
This time, so.
what? You have to give an answer. You can't just waffle and say, well, both are good.
Term limits. Let's think of the history of the city of Two Rivers City Council, and I can say that weighing it both ways, you can have arguments for both sides. You have a lot of people that have gotten complacent over the year. I know some of the people that were on city council, and maybe they should have had term limits to cut them off after 3 terms. But there's people like Paul Leclerc, used to be the postmaster here in Two Rivers. He was really solid guy on city council for years and years, and he was important to the city. So there's arguments for both sides. But I guess if it was me, for sure, I would have to say if you should have a limit of three terms. I think that's really good. That's a good idea, and need fresh, really. And really, we're just the people on the city council are the same as the people at our constituency, except we're sticking our necks out to be on city council. And I think it would be good to bring more people onto city council to learn the government and to understand it. I think that would really be important. Yes, I agree there should be term limits.
And oh, did you? I'm sorry. Thank you. Did you change your answer? No. Thank you. All right. So this time we're done. Start with Larry. Thank you. And let me just ask in the crowd real quick, any questions? Anybody want to have any questions they want to come up and ask? At this point, I've got plenty. I can come back through, but. I think you were busy at the timer.
Oh, we did.
Even one of the things when it's your turn to speak. Recognition out there.
Thanks, Amy.
Sorry.
Good coaching. Hi, I'm Kurt Andrews, former council member. So first of all, I want to thank all you guys for running for city council. I got my glasses on because I wrote this down. And I've heard all your commitments. I watched the last forum, which was great, and I appreciate your commitments to improve the city. Trust me, there are a lot of people voting, a lot of people being volunteering, a lot of people running for government that would help our city. But we're here to vote for the best 4 individuals whose experience, aptitude, vision, and passion best serve. So my question, in looking, asking each of you, look to your right, look to your left, look across the way. Why are you, because you're running against the others, you're all running against each other, not running as a pack, you're running against each other. Pick the best 4 candidates. Why are you the best candidate versus the guy to your left, right, or across from you? You're all committed, but why are you the best candidate? Thank you.
Brilliant question, Kurt. I'll start by saying I am running because I'd like to lead this city. I'm not up here to be a puppet or a yes, sir. I'm here to actually be out here to listen to every citizen. I respond to all of you. You guys will be my boss if I'm reelected. So the ultimate thing is I have to respond to you guys if we're failing, and I have to respond to you guys if we're succeeding. So what am I better than these folks at? Being transparent. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be on the front lines. If a business fails, I'll be the first person to say we didn't try hard enough. If we succeed, it's because we all, as the 9 people up here, we work together to make this happen. I'm in this seat to be a leader. I'm not in here for a seat of power. I am not doing this for any form of a power trip. Some folks up here, I think agendas may be a little more personal than mine are. I'm out here for the betterment of the city. Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt, for the question. I think I stand out a little bit. I have 2 young children, and I look to the future, the community I want them to grow up in. If we want to continue to live here and prosper, that's all the motivation I need. Not saying anyone else to my left or right doesn't have the same motivations, maybe, but I also have a unique perspective as far as the world climate and where the world is headed. There's a lot of changes coming real soon. I'm not sure how much everybody knows about world of finance and the world of sustainable food growth and things like that. Health and wellness are big things in my mind that we need to focus on. Mental health, especially in our community, is a challenge, but mental health is closely connected to gut health, and that's something that I've researched a lot. So we can do better with our diets, we can do better with our mental health, we can do better for our children, we can do better with education, we can do better with communication and dialogue. And that's where I'm coming from, and my children are definitely a motivating factor for that. So thanks.
Wow, where do we go from here, guys? I'm here for one reason. I'm gonna listen to the people of the city. If they've got if they have something that bothers them, I'm gonna bring it to the board. I'm not gonna sit up here and state something that I don't believe in. I'm a no, I'm not gonna take a no for an answer either. We'll fight tooth and nail to get an agenda done if we need be. We can work together as people. I don't know. That's about all I've got.
Tim Petrie, I'm here because I'm not a yes man, and I'm here to be the check and balance in the system. I just here to ask questions, make sure things don't run away with spending and keep stuff on track. That's it.
Name's Scott Steckmesser. Yeah, no, this is a very important question. And I think everyone up here or anyone that wants to do this, they need to be doing it for the right reasons. And I'm definitely doing it for the right reasons. There's no, secret agenda, or there's no hidden plans or anything. What you see is what you get with me, basically. I'm committed to this. I want to do this. I want to be part of the city. Like I said before, this is my home. I don't want anything to happen bad to my home. Like I said, I'm committed. I work an hour away, one way. So, and I've done that for 25 years. So I've always kind of moved closer to where I work, but no, this is where I live. This is home. And I've worked, like I said, 25 years in my current job. I listen to people. That's my job there. I listen to people. I help come up with solutions to different things. And that's what I like doing. And that's what I want to do here. So, yeah, that's why I'm doing that. Thank you.
Hi, Jason Ring again. I mean, we introduced ourselves at the start, and I hope the rest of the candidates here know the room full of people here as well as I do. There aren't too many faces that I'm not familiar with, and for those that aren't, I'll certainly introduce myself after the forum. But I think Kurt's question of how am I better than the folks up here? I'm not better than any one of you, but I do like to think where I set myself apart is that I'm involved in the community. I am a part of the events that happen here in Two Rivers. I am a part of the museums in our community by volunteering there. I'm involved with our local organizations, Two Rivers Business Association that puts us on. I get together with them every month and we talk about the issues in front of our community. We hear an update from our police department and from our city manager and from other businesses in the community so that we really help each other out, lift each other up, and provide support for one another. So that's why I'm here, is to continue providing that support for the businesses in our community and to hopefully be able to go about that support in a new way that's impactful and helps them be successful.
Hi, I'm Bill LeClaire, and the reason I'm more qualified, besides being on the city council for 3 years, sitting on many committees, I've lived in Two Rivers all my life, and I really know a lot about Two Rivers, and I know a lot about the people in Two Rivers. I know the culture. I know a lot of why certain streets are going certain ways, and certain buildings are gone and certain buildings are being built. So I know a lot about what Two Rivers is all about, and that's important besides having 3 years experience on city council.
Roger Van Voltenberg. I have fresh ideas, great degree of honesty and honor. I keep my door open. Transparency is a very key issue. Some of the others kind of hard following up on the end. We've all had good ideas. We've all done things for our community. I've done volunteer work where I do lectures all the way from pre-K up into college for wildlife and raptors. But different other things. But sometimes a person needs fresh idea, fresh start, and a fresh way to look at things. And I have a way of seeing things from outside the box. And a lot of people, they don't get my humor sometimes, but that's okay. But the ideas are good. And matter of fact, I've started an idea this week with a family member. Idea comes fruition because it would actually probably industry in the community. Thank you.
I won't ask Larry to go again. Thanks. Oh, please.
I'm Chris Eggert Rosenthal, and I've lived in Two Rivers just a fairly short time. But after listening to all of your answers, I have a question. Now, each one of you has said that you're going to go ahead and listen to your constituents. Given that, every single one of us has our own opinions and our own thoughts about things. How are you going to actually represent your constituents if they come to you with an idea that is completely opposed to what you think? Suppose you think manufacturing is the best idea, but a whole group of people come to you and say, we want to do this. What I'd like to hear from you is how you propose to listen to people and represent the voters and not yourself.
Travis Van Lannen. I'm sorry,
Sorry, thank you. I'm just
okay,
writing so
I didn't know
can
if you were
recap
ready.
it.
Okay, thanks. I'm sorry, was it Chrissy? Chris, thank you. Great question. That's exactly a great point that I think we all need to think about. To have open dialogue is key. You're right. Not all the constituents are going to want the same things, and sometimes they're going to go against maybe what I believe or what others believe, and that's where the open dialogue comes into hand. There's pros and cons to every situation. Discussion, you might find out that you weren't thinking about the things quite the same way that somebody else was, and maybe we can't be married to our beliefs. I don't plant my flag anywhere. Can always tear it out of the ground and put it somewhere else. That's where open dialogue and open conversation and listening to everybody with an open mind really goes a long way. Thank you.
I think if you brought a opinion to me and you were adamant about getting across, I would go out and personally, like right now, everybody's campaigning for this position. Go out and poll 50 or 75 people with the question that you've got that you want answered and figure it out, like bring it back to the board. That's why we got 9 people. I might like it, 3, 4 people might not like it, might not go through. It possibly could. And it doesn't happen overnight. That's the thing I've learned. I mean, it can go on for a long time before you actually get an answer to what you're trying to get accomplished. So you got to be patient, stay informed, keep moving forward. That's what we got to do. Thank you.
As a board member or a council member, it would be just like an officer and anything else. You have to take a look at all sides, and everything you do is for the betterment of the whole. And it's not about you, that we're just a tool, and you have to be informed and listen to everything before you start to act on anything.
Scott Steckmesser. Excellent question, Chris. Very, very good question. I got that asked quite a bit. And for me, I don't want to say I don't have an opinion, because I would, but the citizens of Two Rivers, they're our boss. So we're supposed to do what you want us to do. Whether good, bad, I mean, obviously we think about it, make sure it's a good. But what I would do is I would listen. I would bring it back to the council and try to think, the best way to move forward with it. Possibly, maybe not, but it's all about the listening and bringing it forward, not just listen and then not do anything about it. You got to be able to listen, bring amongst other people, and then get a good reason whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, and then go back to the people and just explain. A lot of it has to do with communication, I think. And sometimes the council doesn't communicate or may not do it the best ways. I think we need to get out there more and communicate a lot better. So, yeah, I think it's just a matter of listening and taking in consideration and just looking at the facts. And I want to keep talking for 15 more seconds to see what she would do if we got to stop. So I will just leave it at that. Thank you.
I don't think you want to play with that, but okay.
Yeah, I don't want to get make her make me stop.
Be glad it's Amy taking the time and not K Coach, because she would really crack down on us. So what Scott said is exactly it. You got to listen to the constituents that elect you. And I feel like I'm involved in organizations in our community that are a good voice for the community. So the Two Rivers Business Association, I think, is, again, a strong place to listen to what people are looking to get out of their community's leadership. I am involved with events in our community, Kite Fest, the Cool City Card Show, the Two Rivers or the Two Rivers Main Street group. So that's where I can get feedback from the community to find out if the community's voice is what I'm hearing and be able to listen to them. I also want to point out that I'm not, I don't have endorsement from any local organizations or groups. I'm not tied into any other candidate. I'm not campaigning with them. I'm coming here alone myself, and I'm putting myself to the people of Two Rivers to vote for me and my ideas. They may not be aligned with a big group of people. They may just be my own, but that's what I'm here representing, myself, not a group, not an agenda, not a bigger picture thing. It's me looking to make a difference in the community And I do that with feedback from the community, from people I interact with daily, and not from groups that have an agenda that's not my own. So
90 seconds. He does.
Amy sold me my house, so I think maybe she's holding back on that stop sign a little bit. It's her, not me.
Thanks, Amy.
Full disclosure.
Bill LeClaire again. You know, you'd come and ask me that question, so we'd have to go through a process with that. So the process would be, my first thing would be, I would say, to me, it might not be as important, but to other people on the board, it may be important. We have 9 people on our council. And I would urge you to come to the city council meeting and come up to the podium and speak your idea. And if you didn't want to do it, I would go to the part where the meeting where it brings up for people to speak about ideas from the public. And then if it was a good enough idea, we would probably talk about putting it on the agenda. That's something that would have to be put on the agenda. And then at another meeting, we could maybe discuss it and then go through it. So there's basically a process for all of these things. But the thing is, if you would come to the meeting, that would give it much greater weight. And I think if constituents did that more often, and we really urge people to come into our meetings and speak and ask. Just don't say, well, you guys aren't going to listen anyway. We totally do listen. We will listen. And this is a process, and it's a very important process, so we can get everybody on the council to hear everybody's ideas. Thank you.
Roger Van Voltenberg. All of us come from a different background. So everybody has a liking for different things. And for me, I've taught martial arts for 35 years already and trained for a lot longer than that. One of the things I was taught is at the end of the day, every piece of item, every piece of whatever you've done that day goes into the cup that you have. It fills up that cup. At the end of the day, you empty your cup. You think about what you've done that day, what you could do different, what you could do to better yourself, better the community, and better other things. One of the things that helps the community and would better it is communication. The Greeks have a word called agon, and it isn't a, how would you say, kind of means a debate, but they don't get physical and they don't get, mouthy about it. It's one of the ways that the Greeks were able to learn and further their culture the way they did. And the only way they were to do that is to keep an open door with each other, but to keep an open door with their thoughts also. Today, the youth, they have much more advantages, and I hope I'm not shooting off on that, but they have computers and stuff, things that we didn't have in the past. So they have ideas that we may not know, but it's good to keep an open mind and an open door to them because that is our future.
Ready? All right. Larry Thomas, Chris, great question. I represent 11,000 people with different ideas. There isn't one person in this room who shares the same ideas as I, and obviously that's why we're here tonight, to try to earn a seat. Essentially, if someone doesn't come up and represent their idea at the podium, they can certainly communicate it through me. What we should do is bring it to city council, make it an agenda item, discuss it. That's where compromise comes into play. I'm not in charge of any one of you. I represent the city. And if you think your idea is great and should come to fruition somehow, I'll absolutely represent that on the city council. That's why there's 9 of us up here. A majority should vote. There should be some compromise. My ideas are not personal. I'm here to represent everybody in the city. So I think we need to hear from you guys on how to better certain aspects of our city that none of us may be experts at. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else from the crowd real quick? Yep.
Hi, I'm Diane Johnson, the superintendent of the school district. A question for you. I believe that the school district really thrives and survives because of a vibrant community. And I believe the community thrives and survives because of a vibrant school district. Can you tell us how you would get the school district, the city council, hospital boards, library boards, senior citizens and senior center boards, organizations and clubs working together for the betterment of this community. Thank you.
Well, that's kind of a loaded question. No, I can't answer for that right now at this moment. If you want an honest answer, come back to me next week and I'll investigate everything you brought forward. But for me to say something right now, no, I don't have an answer for you. Without sitting down and talking to everybody and doing what we're supposed to do, I'm not going to respond to that because I can't. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Each year, I think you may have misunderstood the question. I would think some of the flyers that they've put out, questionnaires and stuff that I've seen, like with the school project now, that's a good start. I would think maybe something in the utility bills every month so that you know it's getting to the right places and stuff would be a start to keep everybody together and informed. And like I said, that's a good way to start. And maybe have more questionnaires like that go out so that, and have it so that they don't have to either a Dropbox someplace for it or that prepaid postage so it gets back to them. Not that it inconveniences anybody and there's not an excuse for filling it out and getting it back to the council. Thank you.
Scott Steckmeister. That is a really, really good question. And I wish I would have been 8 on that question. No, it's a really, really good question. And I think that's really important to be able to have all these different organizations and communities all work together to be able to make the city really, really good. Honestly, I was just going to come up and say, yeah, I have no idea. And I'm just I'm going to use the time to think out loud. And I think you need people that want to participate. You want people to be able to get up, get out of their house, talk to other people, work together to be able to make the community really, really strong. A lot of people now today with COVID and everything, people are scared and they stay in their house with, rightfully so. But, I think if you need to make it exciting for people to be able to, watch the school board meetings, watch city council meetings, interact with all the different boards and community events that are happening, volunteer, stuff like that. It's not easy. And I don't have a single answer that would say, yes, this is how we should do it. But yeah, I think you need to make it exciting for people. You need people to care about the community to be able to want to communicate and help together.
Thanks. Just
All right, Scott, thinking out loud at a public forum, kudos for going out on that limb. I'm going to feel like, well, first I want to say, if I paid attention during introductions, I'm the only one up here that hasn't raised a child. So you might think, well, here's a guy who wouldn't be involved in the school district or doesn't see an importance to education in our community. But you can't be further from the truth because we can't continue to grow our community. We can't have the next generation be successful in our community if we don't have a strong foundation of education. That's important. I was told by my high school guidance counselor that I wasn't college material. Well, I showed her. Education is important, and I challenge everybody out there to get as much of an education as they feel they need to be successful in their lives. So to me, education is important, and how that ties into the community is very important. So one way in which I do that is through, and this is going to sound like a broken record, and I'm sorry, and maybe I'm pandering to the group that's hosting this, but the Two Rivers Business Association has been a great way to keep me informed in the school district. You give us a report every month on how the school district is doing and how we as a community can make an impact on that school district. So I went home after our meeting on Thursday and I dug through my pile of unread junk mail and I found the school survey. I filled it out and I sent it back in. It may not be the answers you want in the survey, but I sent it back. sent it back.
Hi, Bill Leclerc. I'm getting back to the process of our government here in Two Rivers. We have all the many boards and committees and so forth. And to get them to speaking together more and to bring out solutions better, that's what we're trying to do. And I think you'd have to, if you had an important school referendum or a city a project that you wanted to get done, you'd have to go sit in on these boards and tell these people that you want to have something like that done. And that would help get everyone talking about it, because we do have a pretty big, broad cross-section of people on all the boards and so forth. And eventually, of course, if the ideas are good and strong, that it's going to eventually get to the city council where they'll probably be enacted, or the school board, and they'd be get enacted. Thanks.
Roger Van Voltenberg. Education is very important, especially if we weren't educated and we didn't have language, we wouldn't be able to communicate. It takes kind of a priority. But outside of school, there's also apprenticeships and programs like that where people educate into a trade. Some people have interests, no two people have the same identical interest, I should say. And with that said, I know schools have what's called career day and things like that. But with apprenticeships, you learn usually from the people that have went through it. And that usually means age and wisdom. Big difference between intelligence and wisdom. But, I think that the communication then between the young and the old would go hand in hand. Today, I've seen people in school where they go, "Oh, we looked that up on the internet." It's different to look something up, see it on screen, and actually have hands-on training. Also the camaraderie between the old and the young. So with that said, I think some of the stuff that we've done now.
Larry.
All right, Larry Thomas. Diane, thanks for the question. Ultimately, I think education is the root of everything. Whether you graduate high school, go to college, tech school, that's all individual choice. If I understood your question correctly, it was how can all of the boards make us better? I think the boards communicating amongst one each other would become a synergistic relationship that would only strengthen the community. Because obviously we need to educate our youth to make better employees. Hospitals boards can teach us what we need in medicine. Senior centers can tell us what they need with help with insurance processing, Meals on Wheels, different types of processes most of us might be immune to even considering. I think TRBA, city parks, things of that nature, we all need to communicate with each other, because what one party may need, the other may be ignoring because they're not aware of the situation. So I think ultimately all the boards in town, even Manitowoc County, should be communicating better, because that strengthens our bond as a community. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Diane. Travis Van Lannen. I'm not sure what I can add to what everybody else just said. The communication with the flyers and the websites, I think the city's been doing a fantastic job, especially the last, I'd say 2 to 3 years, with communicating and with our tax bills as far as events going on in the city. And the different departments or different branches of, say, school board, you mentioned hospitals, city council, and all these different arms of our community can absolutely work together to maybe put a venue together to do that would be opportunistic and beneficial. You know, you could have a representative from each one and communicate any different needs and questions, concerns, etc. So maybe some kind of organized forum for that purpose.
Please.
Hi, I'm Peter Crabb. I'm the Executive Director at the Hamilton Wood Type and Printing Museum, and also board member for TRBA. My question is, I would like to know what you consider the most critical piece of infrastructure is needed for Two Rivers to thrive and succeed into the future.
Thanks. Start, Tim.
Peter, again, I would think we have to focus on our actual infrastructure, make sure we have good water, good electricity, or fire protection, police, and that kind of thing. If, pretty sure that's what you were asking, but we need to make sure that our basics are right and proper. And a lot of them are kind of old and failing, but.
Scott Steckmesser. Another great question. I think important is obviously the infrastructure within the city. The city's, getting up there in years. So, sewer, water, that type of thing, I think is important. And roads, obviously, lead lateral pipes, all that stuff. For a city of this age, it's that stuff doesn't last forever anymore. So you always see in wintertime water mains bursting here and there. So yeah, a lot of that older infrastructure, obviously I think needs to be replaced, updated. And by doing that, I think that would just make it, I don't want to say a nicer, newer city, but the reliability would be there for people moving forward. Thank you.
Yeah, if you look at the city's budget, you'll see that public utility is the number one thing that as a community we're spending dollars on. And there's the dollars that we pay for those services every month. Those dollars need to be carefully put back into maintaining the facilities for electric, water, sewer. Those things all will continuously need repair, update, maintenance. And, and again, we take those things for granted until last week when my power went out in the storm that we had. I made a call to our public utilities. They took my call rather quickly, and they said, we are aware and we will have crews are responding. 45 minutes later, my power came on. I think there are some people that would be frustrated by 45 minutes without power. I managed to do well because my tablet was fully charged and I could read my book backlit in the dark, so that was fine. But there are people that go days without power because they don't have the infrastructure that we have. So I'm thrilled that our city is on top of those things. I'm proud that we have a municipal utility. Not a lot of communities or not all communities have that, and it is something that we can definitely be grateful for. And around the world, fresh water is a scarce commodity. We are so fortunate to have the resource that we have of Lake Michigan. And it's great that we can take advantage of it. And I think we can use those things also to leverage our community to others. So thank you.
Bill LeClaire again. I'd say if you want to move us into the future, the infrastructure that we need to work on is the infrastructure across the road here in all the old Hamilton property, the riverfront. We are starting with a new pond that we put in on the Eggers property, and I think soon we're going to see some development next to that pond. We're probably going to put a street in over there. There's going to be we have all kinds of writings and plans and so forth. If they come to fruition or not, I don't know. But the city, of course, is going to work with those developers, as we've always worked with developers. But I think if we develop this property over here, that's going to really bring us into the next century and really make our community shine. Thanks.
Hi, Roger Van Voltenberg. Before I said I think outside the box, part of it also has to deal with history. A lot of historians and scientists have believed that the ancient Romans fell mostly because of lead consumption. They actually carried their water in lead pipes. And bringing that to modern day, we use lead in our gasoline for the internal combustion engine so that it stopped knocking. We use tetraethyl lead. We pumped tons of lead into the atmosphere and stuff like that until 1972. If you go back before that, violent crimes were more on the percentage on a higher percentage back then than they are today. And we have less lead in our atmosphere. Less lead is, because lead is heavy, it's settling. And I think it's very important that our infrastructure remains for a healthy program instead of what has been the downfall in the past. Thank you.
Larry Thomas. Although I can't disagree with anything that anyone said tonight, because infrastructure is always needing to be maintained and repaired, I'm going to go in a different direction. Clearly, we're still in a pandemic. COVID kind of changed what we're doing currently. I think most likely the school district would speak to this, and we need to increase our telecommunications. I think we need to be prepared for our future, whether we're Zoom meeting, which we know everyone's nauseated with already, but heaven forbid we get another spike and students need to be at home, whether we're doing more remote work, whether we can influence people to come here with doing remote work. I think we have to be prepared to get more sites up and active with whether it's 5G, whether it's, Ethernet or fiber. I think we have to be prepared to have technology available at the ready for all of our urban areas as well as our rural areas, because just because you live remotely doesn't mean you shouldn't have the tech that's more available in major metropolitan areas. Thank you.
Thanks for the question, Peter. I disagree completely with the COVID statement. However, as far as your question, infrastructure, most important as far as the future. I don't think our communication lacks that much. I think that's fine. I think maybe some energy independence would be important going forward. I'm not sure if any local civil engineers or anyone has looked into this, but something like hydroelectric power in the rivers or some kind of sustainable energy that, we don't need to go outside of our borders of our community, that we can produce and, sustain our community ourselves. I think that's going to be way more important than any kind of telecommunications or internet. That stuff we've only had for a short amount of time. So something like hydroelectric power, I think, would be great. Thanks.
Doug Wolf, anytime I've got company that comes in from the valley, Milwaukee, whatever, when they get to my house, if it's in the winter time, half the time they get stuck because the roads are being plowed last. And then you hear that, the streets have to be constantly fixed. Well, freezing and thawing on the streets because they're not plowed does a lot of damage. So that needs to be addressed. There's residents on every approach to the city. You talk about blighted properties, just on 310 and Hawthorne coming in, there's a couple properties, I think they're within the city limits, that they almost look like a landfill of some sort. If we're gonna go after something that and make the city look nice, and you want all your tourism, we wanna promote whatever, we gotta make it look better. You gotta if there's a water main that freezes, fix it. Fix the road. Now there's gravel everywhere. A snowplow goes by, your plow hits it, does damage to the vehicle, takes out curbing. It's constant chasing dollars. Maybe there's not money there to fix it, but we need to address it. That's all I have.
Up to the floor again, please.
My name is Tracy Coach. I do sit on city council. I do work remotely. I mostly work from home or out on sites. I do emergency response. I'm an environmental scientist. My question is, after the meeting we had on Monday and we were doing current events coming up, somebody had mentioned another candidates forum at the Manitowoc County Constitutional Caucus. So I went and looked it up. And I only saw 4 faces on there. I want to know why you're a member. I want to know what the group is in the first place. I couldn't figure that out. Why you're a member, and if being in that group is going to influence you when you're elected in any way, shape, or form. Well, if you're a member, let me know.
What county caucus?
I can speak to that if nobody else wants to right now. Travis Van Lannen, it's an open forum for anybody to join that lives in Manitowoc County. And it's just basically funded on constitutional principles. With the world climate right now, if you look outside of our community, there's some nasty stuff going on around the world. And so we just developed this for the people by the people so that we make sure we, maintain our constitutional rights. And anybody in this room or this county is welcome to join and show up. Thank you.
That answer the question at hand.
But that is, but is
There's no influencing anybody. We're not members. We go there on our own free will. We don't pay money. Nothing persuades us any more than him belonging to TRBA or any other organization, okay? I think they pay a due to some of these organizations. We don't pay anything, so we go there. We're not handcuffed. So that's what it is. It's not gonna weigh my position on anything.
Yeah, you don't have to go if you don't want to. I'm usually very busy all the time. I have a hard time making when they have meetings and stuff, and they happen to back us. It's not that we're not running together as a group. They're just like, hey, these are good people. That's it. It's not, yeah, there's no dues or anything. Nobody's gonna persuade me to do anything except what the public would like me to do as a tool for them. Thank you.
To further that, Roger Van Voltenberg, one of the things that we do is it keeps camaraderie between us, but we also find, like we said, there's a lot of outside
Yeah.
influences, it would be a good word for it, yeah, throughout the country. We also give each other ideas. Two heads are better than one. And the other thing about it would be there are certain things where it'd be against the law. Recently, we know that if we were to hand out flyers and stuff like that, we can't open the door and put it inside, these types of things. So we try to keep each other informed on any changes and, different laws and things like that. We're all human, we'll make mistakes on that kind of thing, but we do keep ourselves abreast on it. And if we have an idea, we try to find an outside communication with people to find the answer. So keep an open forum. Thank you.
So I think I was supposed to go first on that one, because I was number one that time. But no, I just want to say that I think everyone has their opinion, but I am not part of that, so.
And I did ask if it was a pointed question, so if any of the other candidates would like to respond.
I just wanted to reaffirm that the city council, Two Rivers City Council is no
Nonpartisan.
Nonpartisan, that's the thing. I got stuck again. Nonpartisan organization, and we don't recognize any political groups or organizations. So if you were to get on city council, you couldn't use the position like that at all. So, thanks.
Are we jumping around or are we going in order?
Yeah, no, we got a little out there. I was asking to.
Directed.
It definitely was a directed question,
Okay.
but you guys all should have a chance to
Well,
respond. So
I
you could've-
guess I mentioned it earlier. I haven't reached out or seeked endorsement from any groups. And aside from friends and supporters in the community, I don't have endorsement or financial support from anybody in the community for this election, so.
And I'll second that. I have no support. I have no endorsements. I'm not being represented by a group supporting 4 members that are sitting up here tonight.
This isn't even fair. Now they're personally attacking 4 individuals.
Excuse me,
He's a
Doug,
member
Doug,
of other
I'm
organizations.
sorry, you had your chance to speak.
Oh, so I can't speak anymore. Okay,
That is
fine.
correct.
All right.
I do feel bad we went off the rails a little bit here, guys. Well, the question was pointed at four gentlemen who did not want to raise their hand, correct? And then you did,
First
and I
of all,
appreciate that, and you guys had your
I'm
chance to
allowed to
respond.
speak, so I can't make a statement now or not?
I'm sorry?
Can I make a statement or can I?
The order of the evening, you will have an opportunity at the end. So please jot some notes. Please do that then, okay?
First of all, I want to thank the TRB business for bringing this to everybody's attention. It's really important for the community to watch each of you because it's our chance to evaluate what you say, how you think, how you react, because they got to elect four of you. And it's very important. You're going to have to fill in that job immediately and make some decisions immediately that'll dictate the destiny of this community. As a past or retiring city council person, I know it's a big job, takes a lot of time. So I have two questions for you. First of all, it's a minimum of 3 meetings a month, city council, which can last anywhere from 6 till after 10 sometimes. And then it's committee meetings, depending on the committees. Sometimes these committees, I mean, I've sat here and I'm bragging because, I mean, I've sat here for 4 or 5 hours for a committee meeting. Not all the time, but during certain periods of the year. Do all of you gentlemen, and you can just answer right around the circle, yes or no, do you have the time to commit to spend that much time to the community? Number one. And then secondly, I want to ask each of you how you feel. Do you have any desire, because and this may get back to the Constituent Caucus and some of the previous things we've heard from them at City Council. They want to make a sanctuary city, Two Rivers, a sanctuary city. I want you to answer yes or no. Do you think Two Rivers should become a sanctuary city? 2 questions, simple, yes or no. Time first, we'll go around the circle. You have time to cover?
So, yeah, we did.
Where we at? Where are we?
I know. I do
We're friends,
apologize
buddy.
for that.
Where do you want to put me?
Yeah,
Not really, but I'll go first. I mean, if
Please.
that's fine.
please do. Yeah.
So you just want yes or no? Yes or no answer, right?
It was 2 questions, yes
Yep.
or no.
So for the time, yes. Sanctuary city, no.
Are these the chairs we sit in for committee meetings? Because this is a comfy chair and it leans back. I could do 5 hours in this chair. As for sanctuary city, that's a controversial topic. And, you know, I've heard both sides of the topic. It's a difficult thing to enforce and it really comes down to enforcement. So I'm just going to say, no, let's not take the time to go through this, process. And let's just let our representatives take care of those things. So, no.
Question again.
As a councilman, you do have the time, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Current.
I'm sorry.
But yes, the
I was
time,
listening to him.
time
and I
in
lost
Sanctuary
it.
City were the
Anyway,
questions.
It's comfy chair.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, I do make that commitment and I will in the future too. Absolutely. Sanctuary City, like I said, we're nonpartisan and we make no connections to any government, political parties or government organizations at all.
Judge Van Voltenberg, yes, I do have the time. Being prior military, I swore an oath to uphold the Constitution. So I would be for Constitution, but we're into a position, whether it's city council, presidency, all the way down. You make an oath, you make a vow. It doesn't end when you leave the military. It stays with you. Thank you.
2 questions. Absolutely make the time constraint. It's a commitment and I'm up here for a reason. Secondly, absolutely not sue a sanctuary city.
As far as the time goes, yes, absolutely. Would have the time, make the time. That's necessary. That's why we're up here, right? And then as far as the constitutional sanctuary city, that would be something that could be discussed. I fully support the Constitution. And it's not about affiliation. It's not about any kind of right-left paradigm or anything like that. It's just the Constitution that our forefathers wrote. And I think we need to hold that true. And certain communities aren't doing that around the world, or around the country, I should say. So I would be for it, but it would definitely have to be a discussion.
I definitely have the time to sit on the council, and I 100% back the Constitution. If the public wanted us to address it, I would address it at that time, listen to all the different points and make a decision on it.
Each year, if I didn't think I could find the time, I wouldn't be here. If you see someone working through the night to make sure something's done, that was probably me. I'm here to do what I need to do. And for the sanctuary city part, there's a lot of different definitions of what people call sanctuary cities. So I'm not sure just exactly what kind you're talking about, but I'm one for rules. So what the rules are is what they are.
Other questions from the floor, or I do have quite a few that I was given before, so let me go to those. We need to generate more manufacturing. Oh, that was the first one. My piles got screwed up. Sorry, guys. All right. I hear all this talk about Two Rivers needing more industry. We uncomfortably lost a hot deal with an ammo company that could have really provided some great growth for the city and its residents for years to come. What are your future endeavors to establish some industries here in the city? And we're back around. Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks. And this is a popular theme. When I was out collecting signatures, economic development and the future of our community as far as business and industry growth was a popular topic that people talked to me about. So one of the ways that I'd like to be involved on this city council is by working with the economic development director of this community and being involved in some of those efforts from a council standpoint. I believe growth is very important. As a community, success comes with growth. We get more people living here and working here. We have more dollars to spend on the community, making this a great place. So it's a great model. But again, as I've talked about, let's be doing the best we can for the people that live here and have businesses here now. Let's build them up, and through building them up, we'll show new community, new business that we have a great community here and that we're supportive of our business. And I think that'll be a great way to draw that new industry into the community. And hopefully we have a lot of opportunities so that we can take those best opportunities and find that fit for Two Rivers. So.
Just.
Like he's talking about the economic development director. That's the person who accepts all the phone calls and interacts with the public and brings it to the city council, and the city council views it and votes on it. And I know he's making a comment about Ammo Inc. and tried dealing with them. We deal as strong as we can with what we can do, but when the bottom line is it's their company. They have to make the decisions. And of course, I think in that situation, they were using us to leverage Manitowoc to get a better deal from them. So unfortunately, that didn't work out for us. We were very excited about it, but we have to move on from that. And this happens a lot. We get Culver's, another one. You think something great's going to happen, and all of a sudden it doesn't happen. But we have to keep striving. And I think one of our number one goals, and if you check our goals online, you'll see that economic development, bringing people to the city and industrial park. We're open to anything, storefronts, developments, building developments. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
Roger Van Voltenberg. Sunday I went for a ride. I started on the south end of Two Rivers and I drove all the way up to Algoma and just out of town, turned around and came back. I seen what our neighboring communities have and different things, and sat down and listened to some of the things that the neighbors even, were talking about. Not that I asked questions, I just kind of eavesdropped on a restaurant meal I had up north of us. And also looked at some of the business that they had. When I grew up in Two Rivers, we had 3 restaurants on Washington Street. There was M&M, Copper Kettle, and Ben and Roos. Ben and Roos is now a tattoo parlor, and Copper Kettle has been closed, and M&M is sitting empty, vacant. We need to find some way to draw attention for entrepreneurialism, whether it's a fresh company, fresh start, to, you know, companies that are already available and looking for a place to find a home. You know, Two Rivers is a fine place to be there, but there's going to have to be some road work to it, you know, looking into it. That said, thank you. Great question.
Thanks, Roger.
Larry Thomas. I'm going to stand by what I had said earlier. Obviously, manufacturing is good for a community, decreases utility. However, it's not the only business that needs to come into town. Look up and down Main Street. There's gas stations, there's abandoned restaurants. We need to have big and large businesses attracted to our area. So I think as city council members, in addition to chambers of commerce, we need to reach out. We need to get any type of business who's interested in here. Even if we utilize tourism, people are traveling here from all over the country to come here and visit Two Rivers. We have the best beach in the world. If they find an abandoned storefront and they find interest in starting a small business there, I'm all for it. We can't have a downtown Main Street that has a blighted gas station that's been here since I've lived here in 2006. It's just not moving. It's an eyesore. So any business, whether it's tech and industry park, whether it's Paragon opening up something similar to Ammo Inc., or whether it's a small mom and pop restaurant downtown, any industry is welcome here. Thank you.
Travis Van Lannen. I can't speak specifically to the Ammo Inc. deal that didn't go through. I know they were just pretty early preliminary talks, and I just learned something that, you know, we maybe did make some efforts as a city, the city council did, and the economic development team. Whatever we can do, I read up a little bit on the TIF and TID programs because I thought there were going to be some questions on that tonight. So far not. But, you know, if there's some kind of deals like that we can put forth for a incoming industry, I think that'd be wonderful. You know, but city can only bend so much. You know, you're not always going to make a company happy. And if it's quite possible that it was being used as leverage and maybe they just wanted to build a new facility anyway. But those are all different, you know, different things that are involved that can be discussed, and whatever we can do as a city and tax breaks or whatever, if we can encourage industry and manufacturing, I do fully support that. Thanks.
Thanks, Travis. Doug?
I wasn't involved with Amos Inc., but apparently they've got the property sold now, which is a good thing. Hopefully it goes somewhere, bring some people in for employment. But I talked to a family friend who is a real estate investor in the Appleton area, a big time player. They're big enough where they don't use a bank. They don't go for city monies at all. When they develop properties, they come in and look at stuff. So I asked him, because that was a question that came up last time, how do we provide housing? We're so short of housing. So I asked him, how do you pick an area to come in and develop? He said, the number one thing is population. You got to have population or industry, you know, in order to come in and make a development of that sort. So until we get some industry, the population isn't going to come around. You could fill up every store downtown here, being a tourism town. What are they going to survive on in the wintertime? You close up. You're not going to sell ice cream to an Eskimo, you know. You got to have something to offset that other income that you need to survive. So what the answer is, I don't know, but we really need to get serious about finding some industry. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, I think maybe some tax breaks to get new industry to come in would be a good idea, but we also have to watch to make sure that we're not bending over for one company and cutting the throat of another one that's been here and is still going to be here unless someone else comes in and pushes them out. Because we've seen that in our town before, where people, they've got a good business plan and they get grants and some loans, and next thing you know, this other business goes out of business and they go out of business and now you have none. So it's a fine line of how far you bend to help the new guy. And maybe we should spend a little more trying to help the people that have been here paying taxes and maybe get them to expand a little bit and hire more or something. Thank you.
Scott?
Can you repeat the question? I want to make sure I want to just make sure I'm answering the question the
Yeah,
right way.
yeah. Heart and soul of it at the end here is, what are your future endeavors to establish some industries here in the city? But it was talking about the Paragon building.
Okay. Scott Steckmeister. I think to be able to get more industry, whether you believe you need to bring more industry in or you know, restaurants or whatever, you need good infrastructure, you need people, and you need a good business plan. And with a good business plan, you can get, you know, TIF loans and grants and stuff like that. I think that would really help different businesses that would come into the city. An open community, a positive community, I think is also real important. I'm sure there's companies out there that, you know, want to come to different places, and if there's a negative atmosphere in the city, those people may not come here. So I think as long as people are working together, you have the good infrastructure in place, and you can just offer some good things for the city, I think that will just want businesses to come here, whether it's industry, restaurants, or whatever. Thank you.
Thanks. And we are back through, so take one more question from the crowd? No? All right. What plans do you have to encourage people to move to Two Rivers? And this will be to Bill.
What plans do I have to make people move to Two Rivers? Well, we have to make things appealing. We got a new development that's going to be going up on Forest Avenue. That's supposedly have people waiting in line to get into. So that the quicker that can get up, the more people we can attract. We got the, like I said, again, this property over here. If we can obtain this property over here, the Hamilton property, and start developing that's going to attract definitely jobs and people to residents if we put residences up. I think the Eggers property, I think that may happen sooner than later. But I can't really expand on that. I don't know of anybody right now that wants to, but I think there's things in the works that make people come here. Of course, we got the great natural resources, our trail, our beach. We're gonna fix up the park, the West Central Park, which will create an atmosphere to attract people here. With the ice skating rink and the water splash pad, and obviously the rest of the new stage and events that we have and stuff that attracts people too. Thank you.
Roger Van Woltenberg. We have certain festivals and stuff here, and it draws people in, kind of like the tourism. And some of the people make mention that it is a rather nice community. I've been to some of these festivals, and maybe we should give it an idea of maybe other festivals, and we can, you know, open our ears up and listen to what some of the people in the community have to say on that, or, you know, different ideas on festivals. But yeah, you know, bringing people here, there has to be a desire, something out there. And not going to move to a place without having an income. So we have to have a balance between a place to have the income and a place to live. So they have to have the, you know, living structure and, you know, go from there. So thank you. Great question.
My answer is Larry Thomas. My answer is two-pronged. First and foremost, we can attract people through business, as well as Bill had mentioned, the natural beauty here. We have waterfront property, or we're close to waterfront property for most of Two Rivers. Look at what people pay on the east and west coast to live anywhere near the ocean. We're getting Central Park here. That'll be at least a start to winter activities. I think if we want to attract more people through winter activities, I think we can build that way. But ultimately, maybe a little sensitive as well, look around the room. We need to diversify our culture. I think we need to invite different folks to our town. I'm looking around. I moved here in 2006, and people told me it was a lily white town. It still is. I'm from Chicago. I think we need to realize that there's cultures other than ours that we need to invite here. We need to be more of an inclusive neighborhood to welcome other folks into our neighborhood. Thank you.
I agree with the natural resources that we have. We need to keep utilizing those. I think the city's been doing a great job with all these festivals, bands on the beach, and Kite Fest, and different things going on. Definitely draw people from out of town, and tourism is great. I agree. But again, the question was, how do you encourage people to stay here, live here, raise families here? And that comes down to, which was already said before me, income. You know, people aren't going to move here unless they can support a family. They're not going to move here unless they can afford to build a property or, you know, buy a property. Maybe that's for sale already. So through the things we already have in place, and it's a lot of people working on hard, I'm sure, we'll draw people in, and then to keep them here or have them want to stay and raise a family, focus on our schools, make sure we have really good schools for the kids, and then really good businesses that can support. Thank you.
Doug Wolf. First of all, we can't make people want to move to Two Rivers. They have to want to move here for a couple reasons, probably a job, a good paying job. Whether or not their grandma and grandpa needs help, you're going to move closer to take care of your parents. You're not going to retire to Two Rivers. I'm not going to buy a house on the beach and be here 3 months and then close it up. Or maybe I could rent it out for bed and breakfast. That wouldn't be such a bad thing because at least the city gets some money. But we got to have some draw. We got to have the nuclear plant, the first one closed in Kiwanee. We had to have taken a hit on money there as far as being spent in town. And we've got one left, and now it's all going solar. They want to do everything solar. We're going to lose a lot of money there too. A lot of people are moving on. The younger generation, they go to school, they move out. There's not enough here. And a splash pad, well, that's cool, but it's not going to make me want to stay here if I was a young individual and could move to the valley and make money. So thank you.
Peach again, this is a beautiful city, and I would like to retire here or in the mountains or something one day. I don't see myself retiring, but the problem that we do have with housing is probably because people have come here to retire, or people that make more money, say Chicago and stuff, they can buy a house here so cheap that they'll pay 20-30% more than what it's worth, and they come here during the summer a couple times and use it as a vacation home or a bed and breakfast or a B&B every once in a while. But then that takes up our housing for the people that want to live here and work here, so they don't have room to live here and work here. People will come here because it's a beautiful city, but they'll need a place to stay. And it's an issue. Two Rivers will sell itself to someone who wants to come here because it's a beautiful place. I've been around the world. There's not many places like it. And that's why other people with more money want to come buy our stuff and just come visit and then go back to where they came from to make more money because they have industry there. It's going to be a hard thing to try and fix, but hopefully we can find a way. Thank you.
Scott Steckmesser. All valid points. I'm going to kind of go a little different. And just, like I said before, Two Rivers is home. For me, it's home for many, many people. The tricky part is getting people to, realize it is home and realize they want to stay. Like I said before, I work an hour away, but I work from home 95% of the time. So even though there might not be jobs here or something like that, you can work in Manitowoc, you can work in Michigan, but either way, we need people to know that Two Rivers can be their home. It's a beautiful city. There's so much to do here. In the summertime, wintertime, you're starting to see more people with investing in the city, slowly but surely. I think the city's slowly, at that corner where they're just about ready to turn that corner to just be really successful. And yeah, I think it's just to get people here, you have to have an environment that people want to come here. They want to spend time here. They want to put roots here, and they just want to call it home, like I said before. So, yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
I think we have a pretty awesome community here, which is a draw for people to want to move here. Amy brought up at one of our last forums, how many houses currently do we have on the market in Two Rivers, Amy? All right, so that to me says opportunity. And what it becomes is a community that when I bought my house here, it was affordable. That was one of the reasons that I bought my house here, because I got a lot of houses for less money. But you know, we have an opportunity now to become an exclusive community. Not everybody can live here. We only want the best. So maybe we have an opportunity to reinvent ourselves as that exclusive place to live. And you know, it's kind of going that direction because my house is worth a lot more than I paid for it when Amy helped me find it here. So I'm thrilled how that's worked out. And I hope everybody can, you know, prosper like that in our community. And I think part of the reason values have gone up are because we have a great community here. We have, as has been already mentioned, we live in Lake Michigan, and that's something that a lot of us take for granted. You know, I travel along that lake every day getting to work, and I try not to take it for granted because there are, you know, people all over the world that don't have that. And again, always looking at ways that we leverage our community, we can be taking advantage of that. My house next to me is somebody who lives in Madison and uses it as a vacation home.
You were close. All right. Looking at the clock, I know we agreed to kind of be done by 8:30. So if one more question from the crowd, otherwise I'm going to ask for closing statements and why we should vote for you. All right. So where are we at? We're at Roger. So if you want to do your closing statement as well as why we should vote for you.
Well, it would be fresh face, fresh thoughts, fresh minds, same mind. I do enjoy the Two Rivers area. We have a lot of natural resources. We have a lot that we can push. And this is a sale that a lot of people would love to enjoy. Point Beach, the cross-country skiing, the hiking, the camping that's out there. There's all different things that draws people in here. But, you know, we also need to draw the entrepreneurial base in also. Has to be a balance. So I'm up for ideas, open door, honesty, all transparency. With that said, thank you very much for your time.
Larry Thomas, thanks for the time tonight. Thank you for everyone for listening and giving us the opportunity to speak. I'll make this quite succinct. I can look out in the crowd and know that there are people who have expressed their support for me. I can look out in the crowd and see people who will not support me. Either way, if I'm voted into the seat, I'm going to listen to all of you. I don't hold a grudge. I'm transparent. Your ideas can be significantly better than mine, and why would I ignore something that can make this fine city better? Isn't that what we're all in this room for? So if you guys do vote for me, by all means, I've got your back 150%. Thank you.
Travis Van Lannen. I'm running because I live in this community, plan on continuing to be in this community. I have 2 young kids and a wife. And I think our city government's only as good as their involvement. And I think through community cooperation, open dialogue, transparency, and honesty, we can achieve so much. And I would really, really appreciate and encourage everybody to get out and vote on April 5th. And thank you.
Doug Wolf, I hope you vote for me because I'd really want to see the city change. I want to see new development. I want to see growth, new people, because we can't replace the old generation. So we got to bring in the new and just work hard with the board, work hard with the people, listen. That's all. Thank you.
Teacher again, I'm from here. I'm from the people. I've got 5 properties in town here in the city, 1 in the township. I'm not going anywhere. I'm getting old. It's about time I step up and get on this end of it also. That's about it. Thank you.
Scott Steckmeister, I'm doing this because, like I said before, this is my home. This place has been important for me for many years. It's important to my family. All my family lives here. My wife's family lives here. So I want to see the city thrive, be successful, move forward with whatever needs to be done in the future. This is kind of something I've been thinking about doing for a long time. I've always been interested in city government and in interacting with it, and it's important to be involved, I think. And not everyone is capable of doing that or wants to do it. So that's why I'm up here doing it. I want to represent you, all of you. I want to listen. I want to help work out the difficult situations. I'm one person out of 9, so it's not like I can change the world up here, but maybe I can just give that little bit of voice of the people that are here and that would support me, that we can make Two Rivers a really, even a better place to live and just to move forward. Thank you.
Hi, Jason Ring again. I am coming into this role to try something new. Politics is something I haven't really been involved in, and I'm generally I'm a really loud voice. But what I want to do with this is I want to try and keep my mouth shut to start, and I want to learn as much as I can from the folks that have been up here, from the folks who've spent many years working for the city, and through the many relationships I have in the community. So to first learn from them. Then I want to listen to them, and I want to reach out to people that I've never heard from, and I want to hear from them what their direction is for the city, what their direction is for me as a city council person. And I want to really take and listen to them and hear what they're saying. And then last, I want to act. And acting is the last thing, because until you know your direction, until you know what the people are looking for, that should be the last thing you do. So I think with the proper order of things, I think I'll be a strong representation for the folks that live here in the community, the folks that have businesses in the community, and the folks that want to make this a really strong community. So thank you. I got to leave a little time for the rest of you. I got places to be at 8:30.
Bill LeClaire. Well, I got 3 years to work to do the job for all of you. And I want to continue to do that job. We have our goals to complete, and I want to go down the road with you and complete those goals. So please vote for Bill LeClaire, April 5th, and not 15th because it'll be too late. But please vote for Bill LeClaire on April 5th. Thank you.
All right, I just really want to say thank you to all of you.
Thanks for moderating.
You guys having an interest in that is service, that is pride in your community, and that came through really well tonight for each of you. So thank you guys for your time. Thank you guys for all your questions. Obviously, I didn't get through them all. I had ones that I pre-wrote, so thank you for bringing those. I didn't even have to use them. So, yes. And vote, April 5th, vote.